I did disable global hotkeys. There we go. Alrighty. So where we last left off, we just basically arrived at the Pure Lands, and now our job it is to survive the Pure Lands. My plan for that is to gather enough money for 2 full sets of armor, and the way we do this is by just landing here and starting to kill some enemies. That is pretty much the gist of it. So how do we survive that? Well, there is a not so easy way to kind of handle that. One of the easier ways is usually to use critical hits to take care of the enemies reasonably quickly. Preferably not getting hit in the process. And also crowd controlling them if I can. Alrighty, that's a sprite dead already, that's not a good start. So either way, those enemies here are extremely powerful. As you could see, they just straight up one-shot the sprite. And our goal is currently to gather enough money for 2 full sets of armor. Right now we have exactly 1 piece of the armor for 1 character. So this will take a while. We also will level up our weapons and other stuff along the way. Including the, more generally, powerful stuff. So, I'm starting to use Stone Saber here. If I petrify an enemy, he loses half of his current HP, which is quite a lot to say the least, and take it also crowd controlled, which is extremely handy. Could you please hit? Okay, gets whacked. I'm going to start giving the lady here some buffs as well. This guy is petrified and he will soon be dead. I'm going to give the boy more critical hit chance. And also, if we find a chest, we will try to open it. So, we'll see how well that's going to go. Okay, that works. I wonder whether I even should try to use petrification or whether I should just use a few critical hits in order to deal with those guys. There's 1 chest, so in those chests, usually there is, I don't even know what this usually is in there, but there's a 1 in 16 chance that if we don't get a trap, with there's a 50-50 chance we don't get a trap, then there's a 1 in 16 chance that we get a griffin helmet. So we did get a trap, so we don't get anything out of it. We survived the trap, so that's a plus. There's also 1 in 16 chance that he actually died to the trap, so there's that too. Thank you for the host, Silvermoon. How are you doing? 5 hours cooking, nah, 1.5 hours of eating. Hey, Play Polite, welcome. And well, I hope that was a pleasant experience for you, one way or another. That sounds like a lot of work either way. So there's that guy done. I'm going to hit this thing, so the boy is not going to get immediately destroyed, preferably. And the boy is still confused, I think. Yeah, hang on. The thing is, you never know how long the confusion lasts, so suddenly the boy will turn around and walk the other way. So how are you guys doing? You're doing good, Silvermoon? Glad to hear that. Boy is either still confused or... Oops, well, I ripped that honey here. On the bright side, we do have a pretty easy way to recover that. On the bright side, he also is no longer confused. So we need to buckle up and move forward. Here's Soul Shade. Thank you. It was quite nice. I'm not that much of a people person, but other than that it was quite pleasant. Life Valmy is awesome, generally speaking, so I have no complaints. And I think using Stone Saber is probably the way to go here anyways. Good morning again to you, Ruff. Welcome. How are you doing? So that guy is dead. I'm going to save the sprite's weapon charges until the other guys run out. Griffin Hand is petrified, that's okay. We are confused, that's also alright. I like how my allies just decide to straight up hit this thing. Kind of neat. So then we need, once again, some critical hit buffs to make sure that we can destroy those guys quickly. And that is going to be the entire grind here, by the way. It's a bit awkward, I haven't optimized this yet without using magic. Oh. Oh. Those guys are dead. Did you know that you can multi-target revive your fire? Kinda neat. Okay. No, I don't need to heal the sprite. Back to Secret Mana indeed. Good morning, how are you guys doing? I believe there was a better place to farm, if I'm not mistaken. Oh. Oh my goodness. Well, we have one cup of wishes. Actually, we have 2 cups of wishes. We only have 1 fairy walnut left. I definitely want to use Lucid Barrier here. And then we go. Oh. Or not. Rip! We might just be dead here. Yeah. Well, back to square one. We need to do this better. So not being able to use magic is actually really difficult there. Merry Christmas to you as well, XF. Welcome. How are you guys doing? Happy Rumpmas. Greetings to you, new man. And anyone else who has joined us, I hope everything is cool. Also, currently the comfy, cozy scarf has taken the place of the warp. Also, I think we are probably better off trying to come from the bottom. That is probably my way to go. Level 4 charge attack is good enough. Let's see whether level 3 charge attack is good enough already as well. No, level 3 charge attack is not quite good enough. But we do have 3 characters, so it should be fine either way. This confusion lasts forever, it feels like. Yeah, sorry, we just don't have enough emote slots for all those awesome emotes. Ooh, that was low damage rolls. We didn't manage to kill those guys in one swing. I dare to say, it is not absolutely necessary for us to level up this much, or more specifically grind out 2 full sets of armor. I'm just kind of mostly doing this because this feels like might as well spend a little bit more time with this game once in a while. And I like this game a lot. So level 5 is seemingly a reliable kill on those guys. Oh my goodness, no one hit this game. Okay, there we go. And we keep getting confused, that is alright. You remember the Pure Lands being a huge jump in difficulty? Yes, absolutely. Especially if you don't necessarily know that there is a vendor that does sell you a good amount of armor on the Pure Lands section. Oh, again. I should have immediately refreshed the Lucid Barrier. That was a mistake to not do that. Lucid Barrier, let's go. And yes, the Pure Lands are extremely powerful, so to speak. If you are not already over-leveled, well, grinding out that first set of armor from those guys can be really difficult, to say the least. And a miss. Miss really doesn't help us, unfortunately. 3 misses in a row makes this really dangerous. Basically, for anyone curious, we have about a 30% chance to miss. From what I recall, that sounds about right. Alrighty. Also, I need to move around over here in order for the crowfoots, or whatever they are called, griffin hands, to get stuck on the plants there. Oh my goodness, stop. Those things are just super dodgy, it feels like sometimes, especially in the wrong places. Ooh, we have a level 6 charge attack now. This pretty much guarantees well, taking them out with a critical hit, if we hit. Which, well, that's pretty much the main issue, really, not being able to take them out. Maybe I should just really revert to using Gnome instead. That probably is the safest play, and just use regular attacks instead. It's a bit more menuing, but probably safer, and also potentially faster, I'm not sure. Hey Thalphon, how are you doing? Ooh, delicious herb. So neither of which... Oh, knock it again, please. They just punch through my defense and they don't get stunned, they don't get destroyed. Here we need to immediately put up the defensive wall again. Okay. No, I wanted that chest! Confusion is too strong. Oh well, let's check our money in a second to see how much more we need. By the way, one of the more annoying things is confusion also extends into the menu. And we can't read our... We're dizzy apparently. We can't read our status effect either, or our amount of money if we are confused apparently. Although I could actually just switch to the other characters, that would be perfectly fine too. Finally Dwarf. Okay. Let's see, what do we have? We have enough for 2 sets of armor pieces, which is not quite enough. And yes, petrification reduces their current life total by half. As in, their current life is just kind of halved. It's pretty sweet. And also pretty overpowered if you can actually petrify the enemies. Are you no! That again. They never Wow. Alright, we're trying to find a different spot for farming, I think. Morkdiark, welcome back, how are you doing? And yes, petrification is both a status effect that makes the enemy stay in place and also lose half of their current HP, so it's incredibly powerful one way or another. Well, we only have a few hits and it's not reliable to apply, so let's just get destroyed again. That's a good start. You know, maybe it would be good enough to just kill those mushrooms instead over here. Gets whacked. And then destroyed. Actually, I think I'll just go for the mushroom. So my hope of killing the crow guys was mainly that he hopefully would have dropped a griffin helmet, which means we would need to not buy the entirety of the helmet thingies. And we're dead again. Because I forgot the lucid barrier. That's on me, obviously. Greens to you, Power. How are you doing? Also, turns out level 2 charge attack is too long to charge up. Let's try with a level lower. And level 3 charge attack is too long to charge up. I don't think the mushrooms drop anything of particular interest. So we can probably just go with this. Oh, I think that didn't hit. I need to aim to hit him at the end of his attack cycle. If we leave the screen and come back in, we should have our consciousness again. Black Shadow! Thank you! Thank you so much, Black Shadow, for 26 rounds in a row. Holy smokes, that's a long time. Welcome back. And well, I'm glad you enjoy your stay. Thank you so much. So yeah. And happy Christmas to you. Merry Christmas or something like that. Whatever suits your bill, that is perfectly fine. Weapon skill up. Now we have a level 6 sword again. Or not. That was a low damage roll there. As a literal low damage roll. There's only high, or only normal and low damage rolls. There's nothing in between. There's a slight variance on each one of the rolls, but that's about it. We definitely need to establish Lucid Barrier again. This is not terribly safe either. So let me tell you, it is so much easier with just only a single character to do those things. I am strongly contemplating just killing off 1 or 2 characters to do this more reliably. This is kind of silly, actually. Which one's ready? Right, I actually forgot we can upgrade the sword a bit. And also the spear, that should help us a bit. Also the morning star for that matter. And the bow, which should be an elven bow now. Nice, actually that's not too bad. Hello! I would like to buy some supplies again because we used up all of them. And we are pretty much at the exact same amount of money we started at. Again. Oh, that's alright. I guess I didn't restock in the first place. So one of the main issues about trying to tackle the Griffin Foot as my means of grinding is pretty much that they silence me. The silence might seem like a minor inconvenience, but it's actually pretty huge when it just wears off at the wrong time or they just lock the bow into place through the animation itself. And on top of that, it's kind of really tricky to handle in general, honestly. So, it's actually kind of nice here too that, well, we sleep and everybody is awake again from the dead. So, I guess those inns have a pretty incredible effect, so to speak. Magic spell up, and we are off back to the Pure Lands. Alrighty. With new weapons, we should also deal more damage, right? Well, we do. Actually, you know what? What if I set everybody to actually attack instead of just being passive like they are the entire time usually? They might be able to actually contribute instead of me constantly getting hit and attacked and stuff. Same deal with the boy, in case I'm not in control of him, why not just attack it, sir? So this way we should be able to take care of those guys significantly more reasonably. No chest here, that's unfortunate. You wake up from the dead every time, is that weird? A bit, yes. And the sprite is dead again. The sprite, by the way, didn't even get experience for that. But so far it seems to be working, like, those guys can just keep them at bay. I would like to have the spear level up a few more levels too, so we might be able to use it, but realistically, I'm only going to be focusing on the boys' damage. So maybe I should give the lady another ranged weapon like the bow, and they can actually deal damage to enemies without getting destroyed, maybe. Sword is level 6 again. Welcome back, level 6 sword. And we definitely want to establish the elusive barrier some more. Secret of Mana has 3 characters in the late game, and Secret of Mana has 3 characters from the very early game, Protness. Greetings to you, how are you doing? How did that miss every single one of them? I like that this is entangled, that means it should move slower, but I don't think the attack actually gets slowed down by any significant margin. Santa reaches level 36. Rumpy is level 37. How fitting. So I would like to... Oh, my menus are backwards. Because of the confusion. What if I just stay here? What is the result? We get attacked and also hit. Let's just reset this. This seems dangerous. So I need to move up a little bit anyways. Maybe I could just try to take out only those 2, and the third one we can ignore because it's kind of inefficient to charge up for just one guy compared to 2. I think we'll do that. Silence! I'm confused! Sleep flower. He's unconscious. This is actually kind of neat. My ranged allies can take care of this griffin foot down there reasonably well. That's very nice. Next time I do a Final Fantasy VI casual, have I seen the dancing ghosts? Maybe. I've seen a lot of weird little things in Final Fantasy VI, but could you elaborate if I may ask? So, another one for you. Okay, I feel like this strategy works out way better. We don't need to worry about other stuff at all. We just kill only those two and then we move on. That is significantly safer. Because they just are stuck at this thing. And even if we don't hit both of them, I think we just go back down anyways. Kind of like... maybe open the chest. Okay, I really want to open the chest. Other characters in the lead. Interesting. I don't think I've seen that one now. Okay, we get another Doom Trap. Survived it. That's okay. As mentioned before, Doom Trap has a 1 in 16 chance to kill you, straight up. It's pretty low of a chance to kill you, but it happens. It's actually one of the reasons why in solo character runs I stopped opening chests unless I felt like I just recently saved. Maybe if I were to charge up with the lady instead, it would be more efficient. If only I were allowed to use 2 controllers, this would be so much nicer in this case. Okay, 125,000 gold. This is not quite enough for 2 armor pieces. 1 armor piece is 65,000 gold. So we are going to be here for a while if I want to actually get 2 full sets. To be fair, we can sell a little bit of the armor. So that can work. And we may get lucky with a Griffin helmet. By the way, if you have Analyzer spell, you can use the Analyzer spell if it's high enough level on a chest. If the chest starts blinking red, that means you have disarmed the trap and you're guaranteed to not get a trap anymore, which can be extremely handy in order to... Oh, we need another of those. It can be extremely handy in order to open up chests from higher level enemies that you could not otherwise open yet, without the risk of there being a trap, so to speak. Hey Sash Prime, how are you doing? Sign doesn't trust the food, Shadow gives something Interceptor. The ghost just dances continuously until you hit the button. Interesting, I do remember something about that with Interceptor. Very interesting indeed. Also, in case anyone is wondering, why do we need a full set of armor? The main reason is Dragon Worm. If in glitchless we can just burst him down with spells reasonably well, but since I'm not allowed to use spells, this gets complicated a little bit, and we kind of need to survive his attacks one way or another without being able to lock him down with spells. So the trick to this is going to be using spells like Lucid Barrier to survive, and as you can see, my physical attack is really powerful at this point with the buff up, etc. But we will need to have enough time to charge up the attack and also land it enough times to kill the Dragon Worm. And you can imagine the Dragon Worm does at least as much damage as those Crowfoots, or well, those guys that just kind of killed me a few times by now. So it can be pretty difficult to survive at all, as a Dragon Worm is, in my opinion, legitimately one of the most difficult battles in the late game. Like, a lot of battles just kind of are super easy once you figure out the weakness of the boss, or even if you don't have a weakness for the boss, you just cast spells on him, they die. But Dragon Worm can still be quite a menace, especially if you don't have proper armor yet. This is why we are saving up. Or just a bit more armor. This is pretty unfortunate that none of them got hit. Yes, you can analyze chests in order to disarm them. And the odd thing about it is... basically, I knew that you could analyze chests in order to see whether it is trapped or not. And it feels like it's exactly backwards. If it's blinking red, that means the trap is disarmed. If it doesn't change anything, that means the trap is still there. It's kind of strange, honestly. Sword is level 7 already. Nice. Okay, we need more. Those. It is so cute. I do agree, it's pretty awesome. So we know level 6 is good enough. Let's actually see whether level 5 is good enough. Level 5 is good enough. Unless we get a low damage roll. Which we've gotten low damage rolls before. Let's see, what do we get? Chocolate. Alrighty. Chocolate is the common drop. That is 15 and 16 times you get the chocolate. Right, I didn't need to go all the way this time. Oops. It's so confusing when the confusion wears off, because then you don't expect it anymore. So yeah, level 5 should be sufficient. We don't need to charge all the way to 6. Although if we get a low damage roll, it would be probably a lot easier to handle the rest of the damage. Although I'm more concerned about... why are you moving down there? I didn't even realize there was another Griffin who was still alive. Still need to re-establish Lucid Barrier. Chocolate won't fit. That slim chance at getting the Griffin Helm would be amazing, because Griffin Helmet doesn't just give you more defense than the armor you can buy, but on top of that it actually grants you +5 strength. So the boy would even deal more damage. I am not standing in the correct position, that's the issue. And greetings to you, Persophone TV. Cranking up the audio a bunch. I'm not sure this would be good balance in the end, but if it's a bit low, I can tune it up a bit. Okay, we need to re-establish this. It is a pretty low ambient sound, so there's that. The boss battle theme will get a lot more hectic very quickly. I should probably look into doing something that Gyre does once in a while. Not once in a while, that Gyre does. Silence, I kill you. Didn't kill him. Okay, that's the last one of those. So let me just do... Give me a second. Okay, I increased the game volume a little bit. If it's too loud, please tell me, and especially please tell me if it's too loud during boss battles, because it is going to get a lot louder. It'll take a while until we get there. I might just turn it down in the first place. Alrighty, just a few more and then we should hopefully have enough money. I actually don't know how much exactly it costs for all the other armor pieces. I just know it's about 65,000 for the main piece. So we have 223,000. Alright, let's just go ahead and buy at least one set of armor and see how much that costs us. Once again, if it's going too loud, feel free to immediately tell me. I would be glad for some feedback. So, alrighty, here, a lot of people had strategy guides when they first played it, I did, and they knew about this Nico here. However, if you never had a strategy guide and you don't know about the existence of this guy, stuff got significantly more difficult. So this is 37,500 plus basically 100,000 plus 30,000, 130,000 for one set of armor. Let's see, we can sell probably a few things. We just bought the best card, we are not going to sell that. Not a whole lot of money there. But we need a bit of space for in our inventory anyways, so it's not exactly wasted. Oh, don't sell that one, that's what we just bought. That would be a pretty gigantic loss in money if we sold that one. Okay, we do definitely give it to the boy, so I'll equip this. And that's pretty much that. The nice thing about the gauntlets is, kind of like the power wrist, they do increase your strength by 5 as well, which is extremely handy. So this and that. Interesting, we can actually sell one of the helmets of the other guys. More specifically, your helmet. In order to buy one more. Then we would just need 65,000 more gold in order to get the remaining gauntlets. I need to use the menu of the sprite. Oh, the boy also got his thing sold, never mind. So, helmet, arm guard for you. You can have this. Alright. But this is a ginormous jump in defense that we just had, in case you're wondering. The boy is now as good equipped as you can get in terms of money investment. There is better armor drops that are possible, but extremely rare. One of the helmets that we had a chance a few times, it's just kind of, well, a 1 in 16 chance after you avoid the trap. If you're high enough level, you are naturally agile enough to avoid the trap just kind of straight up, but most of the time you will have more trouble with this. It happens to you a lot in other games, buying armor and accidentally selling it a moment later. Yeah, I've done that various times before, where I was, oh, I have this random armor here, I didn't even know. Since I haven't equipped it now, it must be not that great, so I'm going to sell it and buy more armor. And then I realized, wait a second, I just bought that. No. Yep, that happens. Alrighty. Let's continue here for a little while longer. We're not going to go don't use offensive spells, that's the entire point of the run. We're going to just buy one more gauntlet. Maybe actually just one more gauntlet and one more thing, and then we're going to be done here for now. If you're lucky, we just get a griffin helmet and the boy will have a better helmet instead anyways. But that is really unusual, or unlikely anyways. So we're not counting on it. It would actually be nice if the remake had stuff that makes you charge your attack quicker or makes it charge attack quicker, just kind of something to spice up the gameplay. Also, I would like to point out that silence just ran out when I was about to position myself for the charge attack. Too bad. Silence, by the way, in case anyone is curious, does invert your D-pad controls, like up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. Doom Trap! Nope, we didn't get it. I mean, it would be a rare drop as well if we get killed by a Doom Trap, so that would be pretty special. I don't exactly know or remember how I ended up grinding as a kid. I just remember it taking a while until I was finally ready to get anywhere within the Pure Lands, because I just ended up grinding out a full set of armor before I moved on. As in, even to the first boss, I think, because I just didn't feel safe at all. I also remember through certain sections in our very first playthrough of the Pure Lands, we ended up just using barrels to walk through. And fun fact, using barrels, even in a speedrun, is a perfectly valid strategy in that section too, because it's just such a rough spot to run through. It's kind of crazy. And hey Johnny5, welcome back. How was family time? Quite fine. I'm not as much of a people person, especially if it's not a lot of people, which, let's put it this way, it's a lot for my standards. It's not really a lot. It's like 10-15 people, that's it. But my family is really nice. I like them. So no complaints on my end. Arrow reaches level 1. This is one of the weirder things that I tend to find. The arrow reaches level 1. It's not the bow, it's the arrow. Which, to be fair, the arrow is what hits the enemy. The bow is just a tool to shoot the projectiles with. So it kind of makes sense. Sounds like a lot to you. I see. People are scary. Yeah, they can be. Greetings to you, Yenji. Welcome back. How are you doing? Hanging out with the family for years, like 6 people. I mean, it's basically little children. I consider to be people too. Just a few more, fair enough. No chest, no chest. The nice thing is, while we are grinding here, we also automatically just gain a ton of levels. Like, this is significantly more levels and HP than I normally am used to in regular runs. So this is an oddly convenient bit of armor that I don't usually get to play with. Okay, this is dangerous. We're going. To reset this because I didn't position myself properly initially. There we go, that's way better already. Okay, a level 4 attack is seemingly good enough sometimes. Confused. Confused and no longer confused. That was 2 damage to the boy. That isn't a whole lot. We had 1-shots before, but plenty. That's not the correct spell school. There we go. By the way, you can actually tell by the little selector icon border as to which character you currently have selected. The boy is blue, the lady is pink, and the sprite is green. So wait, why does the silence spell inflict confuse status? It's confusing, isn't it? I don't know. It is also a silence, as in you cannot cast spells while you are under the effect of silence. So it does make sense for it to be called silence. It's just a bit odd, because it also confuses you, and the status in the box is called confused, and in the status menu it is called dizzy. So there's that. And I thought we are part of your family? I mean, why not? Wait, did I say something else? Black Shadow? You can be part of my family, I'm okay with that. And hey Lucius, how are you doing? Also, that was 4 minutes ago when you said that. Sorry, I'm still terrible at looking at chat in time. I'm sorry. Maybe the Japanese terms were more in sync? I don't know. I don't know Japanese to check. And that's 2 misses. And we are just out of here. There's no reason to stay after you miss twice. Just kind of get a new setup. Because you one-shot them anyways if you hit them. Yep, that's kind of expected. Sander reaches level next. Level next. How much money do I even have? I haven't even checked in a while. 715. Let's get a little bit more actually. This area is so mean in the speedrun? Yes. The thing is, in my glitchless record, I decided to just have safety saves all over the place before going anywhere. Which, the safety saves cost me about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes throughout the run. But I never died. That can happen too. Get whacked. That was nice to just kind of hope for maybe a chest. Come on, a chest. Hey Falex, how are you doing? And ladies and gentlemen, if you are curious, who did even come up with that glitchless speedrun category? He is in chat right now, Falex here. He is essentially the inventor of Seeker of Mana, glitchless. Because before that, we always said, Seeker of Mana, yeah, it has so many glitches, how would you even define glitchless? He just kind of made up a definition and ran with it. And the category looked really nice and intriguing to me, so I figured why don't we just run that? We ended up making a bit of more refined definitions because he was kind of a new runner and didn't exactly know all that many things about certain glitches that can or shouldn't occur. But it's thanks to him that we do have a glitchless category, really. Finally bought a card again, then I got second run and had a tail. Aw. I'm sorry to hear that. That's less than ideal. No, leave the frogs. Blade is dead again. This section is so brutal. Especially if you try to continue despite it being the more wise choice to just reset at the time. Also we need Moon Energy. It is just 5 critical hits right now. Oh, it's going to be 6 next level, so that will be 2 turns. I should keep count of my critical hits that I still have. That was 1 invested, we still have 4. Keep on again, but I usually find glitchless and no-major glitches is more fun to watch in many games. The thing about glitchless and no-major glitches in many games is it's more easy to understand because it is more close to how you played the game casually. Like, you don't need to worry about all those weird tricks and glitches and ridiculousness. Like, they can be intriguing and interesting, but it can also be super confusing, so I definitely understand why a lot of people think glitchless is more interesting in a lot of games. It makes a lot of sense to me. In newer games it's even more strange with all the patches. Yes, I guess so. So, in various speedrun games, they actually decide to make adjustments just for speedrunners, which is really awesome. But also some other games just don't care. They just patch, and then the speedrunners, they can see for themselves if they want to play the legacy or old versions of something. Another doom trap. We lost 3 coin tosses in a row now. Lumina's level 3, and that's that. Remake Race the weekend after it comes out? Sure, why not? I'm in. I'll definitely plan on playing it as soon as it gets released. So I have no idea how much money we have, but I'm almost certain this should be enough to survive against the dreaded dragon worm. Also, I just figured out a new route how to get here quicker. More specifically, I remember northwest is the way to go. It's looking nice. The looks haven't impressed me, to be honest. I'm cautiously optimistic, let's put it that way. So, we need one more armrest. Wait, what else do we need? We can buy some more stuff. So we have 2 armrests for people, we have 2 armors, we have 2 helmets, and I think another helmet is probably the best improvement in defense that we can give to people. Helmet and another gauntlet? Actually, we can afford a helmet and another gauntlet. That way we're only missing the armor. And we will stock up on the rest of the items that we will want to use throughout this area. So we are basically buying our loadout. I dare to say the sacrificial lamb as to who is going to not have the best armor. It's going to be the sprite. I'm sorry, little guy, but the lady is significantly more important than you because you are just kind of a meat shield, that's it. Definitely a bit weird. It's just kind of, they designed it from the ground up for iOS, which I don't blame them for, that's the easy way. iOS and handhelds, which I don't blame them for, that's the easy way to go about it, honestly. It's just kind of, I would like to see it being developed for modern consoles or and such in the first place. Either way, looks are not everything, and we just hope that the gameplay is going to be awesome. Which game? The Secret of Mana remake that is going to be coming out February next year. That is in less than 2 months, actually. Northeast should actually be the desert? It is. Huh, okay. Alrighty, let's see. By the way, I didn't bother healing up the boy because I felt like that was not necessary, even though he did take an attack with 4 damage earlier. Alrighty, and this is where we start our run, or attempted run, through the Pure Lands. Every game, yes please. So the first boss of the Pure Lands, Dragon Worm, is, in my opinion, already going to be the most difficult one of the entire package. Others can be difficult, such as the Red Dragon with just weapons. If you have ever tried to defeat the Red Dragon with just melee weapons, that thing is a nightmare. But with multiple characters, it shouldn't be too bad, all things considered. So, Just going to run through here. By the way, that spinning move, that Poseidon thingy, whatever it does, that actually is not an attack. That doesn't hurt you. It's quite curious to think about. Don't silence me! Oh goodness. Alrighty, I want to re-establish Lucid Barrier. And I hope that we still have thing going. Petrify Gas gets cancelled out by Lucid Barrier. Oh, I need to give the lady a different weapon. The bow can literally not hurt this guy. Okay, we did not have critical hit buffs anymore. I want to heal up the lady. So, first of all, give her a different weapon. Spear is probably the best choice that we have, since that way she will be able to deal at least some form of damage. Probably. The main source of damage is going to be the charge attacks here from the boy, because they have multiple multipliers. The physical attack from the Great Viper is actually not too bad. I didn't equip the armor, did I? Considering that I didn't equip the armor... Oh, that's why I runs. Sorry, Sprite. Considering that I don't have full armor set on the lady, she actually didn't take a whole lot of damage, which is slightly surprising. 961 damage, that's really good. The Sprite is a little Moogle, and he's straight up dead. Poor little guy. So I'm actually using the lady now as a meat shield. Basically, I don't want to get the boy's attack interrupted by spells and such. So I prefer the lady getting hit. Unfortunately, the boy still does not have all that high of a chance of straight up hitting. Like, it is still about a 30% chance, actually slightly less than a 30% chance to miss, even if we were to hit him. Just the situation is really strong. Okay, that's pretty good. We open up Lucid Barrier again. By the way, Lucid Barrier actually makes attacks that inflict status effects always inflict the status effects straight up. But physical spells don't, curiously enough. That was 3 attack in super quick succession on the boy there. We need to re-establish Lucid Barrier. Let's go. Good evening, Kronos. How are you doing? This is why I want the lady in front of the boy. That way she absorbs the spells as well. And we got him, nice. That was significantly easier than I expected it to be, but mainly thanks to actually having armor now. Acquire an axe orb. Let's go. Ouch. Wow. Rip Sprite. I don't think we need a Sprite actually for the next battle as well, but we are going to be saving before we go over. The Dunwall, thank you for the host, I appreciate that. So, alrighty. Next up we have the Frost Dragon on the west side. And the kind of special thing about the dragons is usually they stay in place if you are right below them. Which means the weapon attacks can be significantly better if you manage to land or stay right below them. So the goal is right now for me to stay right below him, and he already starts flying away. As once he starts flying away, well, I guess maybe not. Wow, that's unlucky. Maybe not specifically this dragon here, but generally the dragons. Tend to just kind of keep flying once they start flying. And she's ballooned. So I just want to have the lady once again in front of the boy. Also she charges up while she's ballooned, that is some form of impressive. And he just cancelled my attack. Rude. Freeze breath. I'm okay with him hitting the lady once again. This prevents the boy from getting hit. Which is really good for me overall. And the difficulty about defeating the dragons with a solo character that does not have magic against them is being able to actually attack them. So while they are just kind of flying in and casting a spell, they are invulnerable for a really long time until you can finally hit them. But then they become vulnerable after they start flying away again, but usually you are still under the effect of whatever spell they cast at you until you are able to do anything. So right now I could have hit him while he's flying past, but I didn't have my attack ready there. So I need to basically wait and see. That attack is fine, I can hit him. Also I need to have the lady re-establish Lucid Barrier, that way we don't die. Also, this is another issue with the dragons. If they are over the wall, so to speak, they are considered to be on high ground, so physical attacks just don't hit them at all. Well, I mean, aside from just sometimes you straight up miss. And I guess the curious thing here is, once again, the lady didn't take any damage from Balloon Ring, even without having Lucid Barrier active. But it doesn't matter, Lucid Barrier just ignores that kind of idea. Boom! Lady defeats the dragon. She does have the dragon spear after all. I think? I'm not sure. Potato salad. Oh. My family video was quite nice as well, Kronos. We did also have potato salad, some corn salad in there as well, with ham, and it was pretty awesome. I'm not entirely sure what you call all those things in English, but that's okay. Alrighty, we just keep moving on. This is the difficult portion. Actually, no, not yet. The difficult portion of how to run through areas comes right after this, actually. So I just want the lady to be able to re-establish Lucid Barrier, because I forgot to do that earlier, before we continue. Also, you don't want to stay near those hedgehogs, they are kind of dangerous. Alrighty, and here's the difficulty about our current strategy. We don't have ranged attack charges, so we will probably just use the Elven Bow with... Yeah, we just use the Elven Bow with regular attacks. And also, critical hit improvement. And also, we use, on this guy, Lunar Boost. So as mentioned before, Lunar Boost increases your attack power by actually quite a tremendous amount. The issue with it is that it also pretty much nullifies your evasion, so you always take maximum amount of damage from getting hit by any physical attack. But this is not too much of an issue against the Axe Beak here. And as you might be able to tell, it is kind of useful to be able to hit him from a far range. Well, the Sonic Pulse normally doesn't even hit for anything at all, but the, as mentioned, inclusion of the thingy. Lunar Boost, there we go. made him actually hit us. Okay, we need to re-establish this. Maybe I should only lunar boost the boy, that way the sprite and the lady don't get hit by it. Fire Bouquet actually reduces your damage output, your physical damage output. So it's kind of devastating to get hit by it to an extent. This is also why I upgraded the bow, or one of the reasons more specifically. Yeah, let's just give the boy a lunar boost. Still going to get hit by this, by the way. We're currently playing glitchless category without using offensive magic. Anything that targets an enemy is prohibited during this run from now. So that is basically the entire category we are playing. I need to switch off the bow before this completed ends. You made it back. Hey, welcome back, Trusten. How's the greens to you? Frogs Tomperful. Welcome. You're not a big fan of the minimap they added in the remake. Honestly, we know the areas, but I think for someone who has never played the game, the minimap might be quite nice. I mean, if I didn't have a guide with all the maps included, I would have been completely lost as a kid. I can tell you that much. We probably would have figured it out eventually and still had fond memories of it, but it's just kind of, the map was really nice for me as a little kid, because I was not really much of a completionist or anything like that. In only region or country? I mean, I love the simple cuisine, or whatever you call it. That's just me though. But potato salad is simple but very, very, very tasty. So same deal here, we just kind of want to stay right below him in order for him to not go away. I need the lady to give me a boost. I do want the sprite to survive here, so for now anyways. We're going to give him chocolate. You know what? Actually, I'm going to just let the sprite stand here with a barrel and have the AI control cactus attack instead. Level 5 attack should be sufficient, in theory. What are you doing, boy? Why are you not attacking? I think the boy is just not engaged in combat with this guy because he's too far away. It's kind of weird to think about. So basically the sprite is tanking his tail attacks, but the boy is in a weird position here, I guess. And they're running away. Or he's running away. The lady still has the attack charge, which is interesting. Exploder might kill the sprite. No, it didn't. Basically, I'm actually not a fan of the fancy kitchen at all. Like, I like food that tastes good. I'm not complicated in that. And I don't need it to look particularly good. Although, looking good is nice. It is by far my worry. Oh, we actually need more fairy walnuts. Oh, he's moving. Ah, he's staying actually in high ground right now. I can't hit him with physical attacks like this. Or can I? The other guys just hit him. Maybe that was just a miss. Yeah, we can hit him. Probably. So I want the boy to get hit actually by him. That way the lady can attack. What is he doing? I think he is avoiding a character and trying to target the lady specifically. This is interesting. I had no idea about this behavior of this guy. I'm pretty sure he's targeting the lady and trying to avoid the other guys. Like, he doesn't get closer at all. He's specifically reacting to the lady's movement. Very, very intriguing. No, rude. Really rude. By the way, Fire Breath, the initial attack is physical damage. Also, that was impossible for the lady to hit, but the boy got him on a get-up attack. Neat. I forgot to split earlier, I guess. You've never seen that pattern of movement? Me neither. Me neither. And yes, actually, on my cartridge I do have a 100% run. It took me 32 hours and 50 minutes to complete that. Which was basically 100%, 100%, 100% run. And I'm going to actually do another one next year before the Secret of Mana remake release, just kind of leading up to it. That is my plan. I'm not sure exactly whether I'm going to be following the same rules, because that was a lot of time invested for things that, if I were to not quite follow the same rules, would give me a lot more leeway. It's so unfortunate that we can't target any enemies. Let's just use barrels here. So this is the dangerous section where using barrels is probably the easiest way to handle things. The lady might just straight up die there. Okay, here we go. We can just purchase new barrels later. So this is the place where I do want to just straight up walk through, ignore everything else. Oh, hang on a second. How many fairy molars do we have? Two. Two is plenty to get through the rest here. Some things take forever to drop. Yeah, the thing is, I actually made it more difficult on myself by getting the Mana Sword early, and also getting the Mana Sword to level 8.99, which required some shenanigans with weapon leveling, otherwise it was impossible to achieve. Alrighty. Okay. So, we need the lady to establish this. And we need the lady to give that to herself. And we start charging up. Nice hit. Okay, and I don't think we need to worry too much about our evasion. We shouldn't get hit by too many physical attacks, although he does have the most powerful physical attack in the game that I'm aware of. Which isn't probably not true, but the most powerful physical specific attack. Which is Blitz Breath. Blitz Breath does a lot of damage if it ever hits you straight up. That's unfortunate. The lady missed, but that's okay. Griffin Helm was actually one of the easier items to acquire. One of the worst ones is the Axe Orbs. Okay, the sprite will die. I'm okay with this. I'm sorry, Spritey. But the other two characters are more important. Was it the character levels or the weapon levels you had to keep to avoid? I kept the boy at level 1 throughout most of the game. In fact, both the sprite and the lady reached level 99 before I had acquired all the weapon orbs in order to level them up to 8.99 before I started leveling up the boy as well. That was a bit of an extreme measure and probably not exactly necessary, but that's what I ended up doing. For the reasons of silence, I try to never have the girl and sprite use anything other than gloss and boomerang respectively. I mean, that's their starting weapons. I like thinking of the lady as a monk with supportive spells and incredible martial arts combat capabilities. Pretty fun to think of her that way, honestly, in my book. So that was the Thunder Gigas. He gave us the last sword orb that you straight up acquire. In fact, that's the only weapon orb that you don't get anymore in the Mana Fortress. All the other weapon orbs, or last weapon orbs, you do acquire in the Mana Fortress. I should actually establish Lucid Barrier before going through here. Sound is still fine, even in boss battles. Alrighty, thank you, Black Shadow. Actually, I spaced on that. I appreciate that feedback. Hey, Hoppy the Fool, welcome back. How are you doing? Let's go, guys. Alrighty, and here we have the Thunder Dragon. Same concept as the other dragon, except that this guy here, unlike the Red Dragon, does not have nearly as much high ground to work with, so it's way easier to just straight up hit him when he is in range. Aside from him having invulnerability periods like all the other dragons that I need to avoid, like whenever he is taking action, he's invulnerable for a while. Right here, he's invulnerable until his action is over, and then we can hit him while he's flying around. So we need to avoid those periods entirely. Blitzra, his physical power is not that great, I guess. That was not that much damage. Nice crit. Need Lucid Barrier again. Oh, we are back. Hey, Amagus, we're back indeed. Welcome back to you as well. I hope you're having a good day so far. Bam. Good night, sir. Sitting in a cultural family. Hey, nice. That's pretty sweet. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, the Pure Lands have been completed. And let's actually try to take this guy out. Nope, never mind. Too dangerous. So we will be able to equip the sprite now as well with proper armor, since we should have acquired enough money in the meantime throughout the entirety of Pure Lands. So we will do that real quick, stock up on the rest of items, and then we are on the last stretch through the Mana Fortress. And that shouldn't take too long. The Mana Fortress is one of the territories I'm most familiar with, because the Pure Lands are a bit more obscure to me, since you skip them in most categories. Yes, remake is confirmed for 15th to 2018. Yes, 15th of February 2018. Meta Sigma, thank you for the host, I appreciate that. Welcome everybody, I hope you had a good time over there. Miss, 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 how did your Secret of M runs go? I guess it missed. Aww. Thank you so much, man, I appreciate that, and welcome everybody. I hope you had a good time. We just completed the Pure Lands and we are about to embark on an adventure into the Mana Fortress. I think today's Umdot was Miss. I see. That's less than ideal. Sword power at maximum. By the way, this is not just a plot thing. Actually, you do acquire all the sword orbs. If you missed any so far, your sword power is literally at maximum, which means you can upgrade your sword all the way to the max level at this point. Which means you can technically skip out on getting... Which means you can skip out on the chests that are in, well, all the places without picking up the sword orbs and still be completely alright without having to worry about the sword not being any stronger. Which is kind of a clever move, all things considered, because you could potentially miss out on certain sword chests because you might just not pick them up for some reason. Monster Ranch wasn't great either, oh boy. Alrighty, we're off to restock. I don't think we technically need to save, but I'm still going to do it. Restock, save, and then we're off to the Mana Fortress. I went the wrong way! Yeah, we have easily enough money to buy the last armor here. We want to restock on barrels, because barrels are overpowered, although in the Mana Fortress there's not really anything specifically that I want to use barrels against, but they can still be used as denying spell damage if necessary. Although considering we do have proper armor now for this section of the game, it most likely is not going to be necessary. Oh yeah, we are pretty much ready to rumble. And that means... Where was it? Northeast from here? Yep, northeast working. The desert, because there is the quickest way to get to what? Which one's ready? Sword. Let me upgrade one more time to the Dragon Buster. We could upgrade the other weapons too, but there's not really much of a reason. So let's actually go to Light Trident. We'll travel in this one here. We'll leave the Fork of... Oh! Imswork. Imswork is the one that gives also balloon status effect if you use it. Most likely not going to be necessary, but who knows. Alrighty. We are awesome, actually. I do agree. And off we go. To the Mana Fortress. I'm not sure those boys sword upgraded or updated. Now it is the correct graphic on the sword. Bam! Crit that stalker. You get lucky, you get a chest from them, and that contains 1 in 16 times a rare drop. And well, here I'm in my own territory. The only difference is that the sprite has the whip instead of the lady, compared to what I'm usually used to. So let's just go. Let's run. I'm still going to do a lot of spawn manipulation in order to avoid encountering enemies that I don't really want to encounter. Oh. And with the critical hit buffs, we just straight up kill the enemies, which is unusual, and also slightly less than ideal. Because it makes it a bit tricky. I never equipped the armor on the sprite, did I? Let's actually correct that mistake real quick. The lady has so much maximum MP. It's so unusual to have these many levels. I'm sorry, I can't type right now. Buffy is going to be a bit tricky in trying to defeat him. It's not going to be difficult, I don't think. Buffy shouldn't deal too much damage overall, but it's going to be tricky. So, casting Rune Energy on the boy. The lady too. Then we just hope he comes down so we can hit him. That's all we do really. I guess that's okay as well. Okay, we're getting eaten actually. This allows the sprite and the lady to start charging up and attacking the Buffy quite well overall. Plus, as usual, the boy does have the highest physical defense thanks to having the highest constitution, so he is the most well suited. We're doing those kinds of shenanigans. So, we definitely want to critical hit buff going again. So far, Buffy has been really nice to us, just kind of coming down all the time in order for us to hit him reasonably easily. I'm tangled. Oh no, I'm moving slow. Wait a second, I'm charging up anyways. Boom. At this point I need to get elusive barrier going again. That high jump can make a character, or knock a character unconscious, so it's something to be slightly wary about. Oh, and that removes my elusive barrier. Not so nice. Let's heal up. This will probably hit the boy. It didn't even knock him unconscious though. Oh, good night. Actually, no, you didn't break the bot. It just kind of has an internal cooldown a little bit until you can challenge again. And I do agree with you, Rock Stomper full. I absolutely agree. The +5 strength is incredibly valuable on the boy especially. On the lady too, if you care about her damage. But it is especially noticeable later on. Alrighty, I'm actually going to try and put everybody in the same corner. The lady is slightly off. Maybe. Oh no. Ah no, thank you. And thank you so much for the sub-gift to Meta Sigma. I really appreciate that. Meta, well, you're pretty awesome, and well, I hope you enjoy your stay. Thank you so much for being around, sir. That was the wrong attack to use there. Don't use a whirlwind attack, that is a really bad idea. You know what, I can do this technically, but then I can't establish healing anymore. Red Slime is really going in with all his acid rain spam. Not so nice. Trying to gather my group again. We don't want to get too far away from the core, which is kind of tricky and also dangerous to get too far away from it. Because potentially I could no longer be able to hit him with physical attacks, and then what do we do? That doesn't help, but this does help, so we can deal more damage. Hey, the sprite should actually be able to deal decent damage too here. Which is interesting to think about. I guess you could call it decent. So I don't think the boy or the lady can hit this guy anymore, he's too far away. And we can't move out of the corners either. Yeah, no, he's too far. So what we're going to be doing is we wait until the sprite dies. That way the red slime will rearrange himself to be situated on top of the sprite and the lady. He just needs to quote-unquote win the 50-50, so the sprite gets targeted instead of the lady. It's a 50% chance for him to target the two furthest out characters. There we go. Bye bye, Spidey. I like how the lady can interrupt her own attack. He really does not like to let go of his attacks right now. Oh, and he's dead. Goodbye. Oops. I almost reset my split stash. Boing. Reached level 50. Wow. Such a high level. That's kind of crazy. Oh hi, we didn't expect you. You're not supposed to spawn. Goodbye. Rip. Alrighty, so we have arrived. At the final two bosses. We still have 4 fairy walnuts. We will definitely not run out of resources as long as we play it solidly and cleverly. I will have the sprite now finally start charging up his weapon as well. No real reason to not have the sprite also deal some damage. He will not be able to deal that much damage, but it will be something, and it will contribute to our success. I'm actually going to do this too. Wall has 2 reflect charges, so 2 spells directed against my cactus will get reflected by the wall. It's going to be quite handy overall. Let's go. So, the Dark Lich will always do the same kind of actions. First, he casts a physical spell that can be denied by either dodging if it's a beam attack or just a lucid barrier, at least the damage portion. Sometimes you still get knocked unconscious and such, or ballooned. And then after that he will always cast a spell that can be anything. It can be Dispel, Freeze, Thunder, and all of those we can reflect. Except, well, I guess Dispel we can't reflect. We just hope it is not Dispel, because it also gets rid of our other buffs. So, well, we see what it's going to be. The best case scenario, usually, if it gets reflected, is Freeze or Thunder. I think he can cast Thunder. I'm actually not entirely sure anymore, because that actually does damage, versus Hades Grenade, or just a German name, isn't it? That Darkness spell just will deal 1 damage instead. Alrighty, let's get this going. And that can happen too. And that can happen too. I don't think I'm going for the headbang. The lady's still charging, that is pretty fascinating. Hey Speed, real welcome. Oh, thank you for the good luck. I'm actually going to tell the lady to... Oh, we can't do that, because we have wall active right now, so it will get reflected to the boss. Which wouldn't be terrible, because we would always hit at least. If we reflect that thing to the boss, as in lunar boost. But there is a AI loop you can put the boss into if you stand in the exact middle between the hands when he pokes up his head, which is what we call the headbang, where he just moves up and down, up and down, up and down extremely quickly. Lady, that was not good. And there's that. Well, he decided to not work there. That's okay. Poor little sprite, he is now a snowman. Do you wanna build a snowman? Look out the magic. Hey, he heals himself for 197. Oh wait, he damaged himself for 197. Lovely. We actually need more critical hits on the boy now. We deal a lot of damage. The sprite hasn't even gotten to attack yet, because he's just our meat shield and absorbs all the attacks. Poor little guy. Bam! He's dead already. That was easy. Reached level 51. 51. And the sprite doesn't quite reach level 51, but that's okay. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to move into the last stage of this game, where we will unleash the mana sword completely. So what we will actually do is we will immediately start casting the mana sword spell as soon as we are in combat with the mana beast, and then cast it again, because the first one has a bit of a cutscene attached to it, and usually the mana sword just straight up runs out during it. And also, both the sprite and the lady's spell do have each an individual chance to just fail, so to speak, and have a super short duration, and both of the durations need to be active at the same time for the sprite and the lady in order for the mana sword to be still there. So we just need to hope that we don't fail those spell rolls, and then we should be able to destroy the mana beast rather quickly. Okay. You legend. How are you doing? Joyeux Noël. Aduosi? I think. My French is terrible, but thank you. Hope you have a pleasant Christmas as well. So, spell, and I guess this is the first time the sprite casts a spell that is not specifically... Although you can see the mana sword already wore off right there. It's not even a green sword anymore, which it's supposed to be. Which also confused me as a kid. The mana sword doesn't even deal much damage, because I never level try it. Revive the mana sword, and we have to... Oh, never mind, this mana sword is here. So there's actually one thing that we can't do. Normally you would like to increase your physical damage by, on top of everything else, apply an additional amount of weapon buff, but in glitchless we are not allowed to do that because it actually extends the duration of the mana sword forever, and that's kind of a glitch, so we don't do that. So, in theory, the boy should now be able to just swing at the mana beast and deal max damage with just regular swings. Magic faded. Oh, the mana sword faded. I'm a derp. Of course it faded. There's the mana sword. Bam. 2, 3, 4. The lady needs to give me more critical hits. Oh, and the mana spell ran out. We can try to establish it again. Might be a bit late now. And it failed. Oh, no, there it is. Was a bit too late though. Alrighty, so once again, for anyone who is missing, why is the mana sword suddenly so incredibly powerful? Because in other categories we use the mana sword too, but it's not nearly as strong. So what happens here is we have leveled our secondary weapons to a certain amount. We have 55 points in Spike Knuckle, we have 1.12 in Dragonlance, which is actually less damage of a damage boost than the Spike Knuckles, but let me explain. 80 points in What's Axe, 93 points in the Hammer Flail, 98 points in the Elven Bow, 81 points in the Boomerang, and 52 points. All of those individual points, as in behind the column, essentially got straight up added to your attack power. Anything that is in the front, like the 1 point something on the Dragonlance, is actually worth only 12.5 points in terms of attack power. So it's actually better to have 0.13 points compared to having a 1 point something in terms of how much more powerful it can be. So, I mean, on the bright side, this is essentially 24.5 points of power for the Dragonlance, but it is still less than the Spike Knuckle or the Imp's Fork or anything like that. So all of those weapons just give us additional damage. That is a weird sprite block there. Interesting. Magic faded, and I want to have this established again, Moon Energy. Thank you very much. And we just don't even need to worry about the damage from this flying in attack, since the mana beast can't damage us. Because we still have Lucid Barrier active, and with proper armor, Lucid Barrier will just completely negate that attack entirely. Alrighty. Mana Sword revived. And we deal damage again. 9 out of 99, 9 out of 99. And one of the mana spells failed. Oh! But it's over already anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, we finished in just under 7 hours without any offensive use of magic, only buffs and healing spells. Bonk. In 2 parts. Rest in peace. Once again, if you have any questions, as usual, feel free to ask them. I will happily try to answer them if you have any. Also, one little fact, in case you don't know, at the very end of the game there is the end screen with the moon phase. It can be either a full moon, a crescent moon, or a 2/3 moon. From what I've learned, which moon phase it is based on your save files. What content they have, but to my knowledge there's no reason or no way to manipulate them currently, so it's essentially random which moon phase we get. Unless you always have 0 save files in the first place, then it would always be a 2/3 moon. So there might be a slight bias toward a certain moon phase, but for all we know, it is just completely random. Well, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to guess which one it might be. You're sure your hand doesn't taste good? Well, next time try to drench it in a bit of pepper. And maybe the rabbit will learn to not bite you anymore. Your hand got whacked. 40 damage. To the moon! Wait, wrong game. No. Let's not go to the moon again. I didn't know there was a response to that. Nazir came out of retirement to do ST2. Huh? I'm not entirely sure what to make of that, Profness. I can't challenge right now anymore. If you don't challenge yourself, how will you get better? Excellent question. I like it. I see. Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right, Profness. I mean, honestly, for them not really having much of a plan on how to build for the Super Nintendo at the time, as buggy and silly as it seems to be at Time Secret of Mana, I still think it is really, really well done overall. Like, there's a lot of impressive tech and technology in there. Life of Mania is also with a bunch of viewers. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that earlier. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And when did I miss that? It's a bit silly if my chat goes this fast. I tend to miss these things. So yeah, there it is. Life Armenia, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Welcome everybody. It was during the final boss. Oh, I see. Fair enough. Yeah. I feel like maybe the challenge thing should have a bit of a longer cooldown. That's just my impression right now. A bit much of the challenge thing in my chat, honestly. Let's see which moon we have today. And it looks like it's a 2/3 moon today. With a little... meteor? What do you call those stars that fall from the sky? I forget. You call it? Nice. Congratulations, Barrington Redmayne. I can change all the cooldowns. Yeah, I'm just kind of contemplating. I mean, usually it's not just kind of that much, but at the same time, some people are more competitive than others. Am I right? Which is a good thing, so I don't want to get into your fun there. Usually it's more quiet anyway, so it's okay. Meteor? Shooting star, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to keep the people up here in my home. There's currently more people sleeping here than before, because family gathering and such, so I'm going to end the stream earlier than I would like to be honest. I would like to continue, but it's not quite how it works out this year. Maybe next year I will have a bit more time. Actually, if all goes well, I will have more time to just stream straight up next year. Because hopefully I will be by then in Japan again. Also, by then I hope that I will be able to stream during more European friendly times as well, even despite being over there. That's kind of the plan. Not sure how well that will work out. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the end. Thank you very much for watching, for listening and for lurking. I hope you enjoyed that, and well, maybe until next time. Take care everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.